Hey there, Faithful Skeptic here. Um, Today is February 16th, 2018, a couple days after a mass shooting at a school. My original intent with this video was to basically just reiterate what I had posted on the Facebook page, which I just created today, which I'll try to put a link in the description. But I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to go off something a little more philosophical and less directly related to that incident. I want to talk about the loss of positive masculinity in our culture, and how especially in the age of empowered women, that's a very dangerous thing, because they're the positive masculine archetypes are something that doesn't just apply to men. It applies to women too. Women can be those things as well, and we need, in eons past, women didn't have the capacity for violence physically. They just didn't. That's the way society was. Not a good thing, but that's the way it was. But in our modern context, I don't want to scare anybody, but since we've invented these, um, women have the same capacity for violence as men. Since we have, women can vote, women have all the same rights. They're just as dangerous as everybody else now, and they need to develop that masculine side properly, in order to be good people and safe people. And that's something that unfortunately our society just abandoned in its entirety quite a long time ago. Part of where that came from is that throughout history, women didn't have power. So when society looked for ways to control, psychosocial pathologies, it was a masculine endeavor. It was aimed at the pathologies that men are prone to, and we really didn't pay much attention to the pathologies that women are prone to, because in centuries past, they couldn't do damage. So why worry about it? Well, that's all changed. And unfortunately, about the same time that we took that step to empower women, which is a good thing, that I'm glad we did, this misconception came about that because the pathologies we're worried about in society historically are masculine, that therefore pathology, psychosocial pathology itself, is a masculine problem. And the theory grew out of that if we make society more feminine, then we'll make it better, because obviously all those problems, those are masculine problems, and if we get rid of the masculine, then we'll get rid of the problem. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We're not, the first of all, there are feminine psychosocial pathologies as well, but those things that become pathological are not tied to masculinity. They're tied to power, and people will always have power, capacity for it. And you can't, I'll probably post this in text format at some point, a little more detail, but the choice is not between monster and not monster. And when you're talking about people, men or women, the choice is between a monster who knows he's a monster and can control it, and a monster who doesn't know he's a monster and has no control over it. And in the era of empowered women, the need for the positive masculine to be a force in society is even greater, because now it's not just men who need it. You know, at the time that we decided, oh, women are empowered, we don't need men anymore, the truth is that women are empowered. We need to teach women the same restraint that we've been teaching men for centuries. We need to teach women to integrate their dangers the way that we've taught men for centuries. And you know, unfortunately, so yeah, you know, in our society now, the solution is not to make people more passive, male and female. The solution is to make people good. You know, harmless isn't good, harmless is harmless. And the truth is, you can never actually make people harmless. You can make people pretend to be harmless. You can make people look harmless. You can make people feel harmless, but you can't actually make them harmless. And no matter what you do, those pathologies are going to come out. And if we don't start teaching boys to be men, to be powerful and strong and violent but good, then we're going to keep seeing these school shootings. And if we don't start teaching our daughters the same thing, we're going to start seeing girls do it too. So that's my thought for the day. Maybe it's controversial, maybe it's not, but I got to come up with a good way to end these videos for this channel. But see you later.